Alright, welcome back to more Pokemon Diamond. So, in the previous part, we caught Heatran. And what does this guy have to say about Heatran? So, there was a Pokemon. Did it come to be when Sinnoh was created? Who knows? Who cares? I mean, I'm sure some people care. But anyways, so we got one last route we need to kind of explore before we wrap up this area of the game. And we get attacked by... Ooh. Banette. Again, sorry if I don't say the names correctly, or some of the names correctly. Is this thing Gen 3? I want to say so, but we're not going to fight it, because I don't care. But figured I would at least show off one of the Pokemon that you can find here. Honestly, that's one of those Pokemon that's kind of a little forgettable to me. I kind of forget that that one's there at all. Dubious Disc. I believe this is so you can evolve the final evolution of Magnemite. This is going to be a very action-packed episode, because we got 3 legendaries we're cutting down this time, rather than just the one. But it was such a pain to record this episode. Like, half of them, or did it in like 2 chunks. And the second recording session, for some reason the audio didn't record. I don't know why OBS does this to me sometimes. It's just like... But anyways, I was able to recreate most of it with audio that I was able to get from YouTube, but it was definitely much more of a pain to do. They keep taunting me with these open squares. Finally, we find one, but like... I'm a little surprised they didn't have like a hidden tree behind there just to block your path. Remember that line. Because I'm pretty sure at least one of these bird Pokemon isn't really a flying, like an actual flying bird. I mean, maybe Farfetch'd does fly, we just never see it, but... Alrighty, Farfetch'd, Gen 1. for the longest time didn't have an evolution, but I believe in one of the more recent gens they added one where its leak basically becomes like a giant sword and shield. Swallow. And this is Gen 3. Okay. This one could actually fly you. Although it's a very small, like, bird to be able to fly. It's like, that's the joke with a lot of these birds, is like, how do you actually fly on them? I think, like, Pidgeot makes sense, because it's large enough that I think Ash flew on it in the anime, but a lot of these Pokemon aren't really that big. You just have to, like, have their talons interlocked with your hand or something, and they just carry you. Sheesh. I arrive in a new place, and it turns out to be something, I don't know. I didn't catch it. Anyways, thankfully the one girl didn't catch us as we were trying to get out of the way. Hey, rare candy. And what do we got up here? Alrighty, that's pretty much it for this area of Sinnoh. Now we are back in the fight area. A super rod. Hey, nice. We got the super rod. Alrighty. What's up? Do you want to sail the Snowpoint? It should be said that you don't have to actually take the boat to get back. But we do want to go to the Snowpoint anyways, because there is a legendary here. So you may have remembered back when we did the original visit to this town that we tried to enter this temple up here and we were turned away. Only the chosen may enter the Snowpoint Temple. I'm sorry, but you will have to leave. Hey, and there's Candace. It's okay, you can let that person in. Cynthia sent word to me. You're working on a Pokédex, aren't you? There should be many rare Pokemon in the temple. Enjoy your exploring. It seems like this should have an exit cutscene or something, because she just kind of stands there awkwardly and just tells you the same thing if you talk with her. Kind of weird. So, yeah, this is the ice physics part of the game. Well, second part of the game, I guess we do technically see it in the gym. So, all but basically 2 of these rooms are brain dead. There's literally no challenge to them. This is the only one besides the final room that's actually kind of challenging, and even then, this one really isn't too bad. So basically we need to get to that stone over on the side there in order to get up there. As you can probably tell, I am deliberating here on what the appropriate way to do it is. Nope, wrong way. These are always tougher when you can't see the full screen, I feel. Because you gotta constantly, like, go back and forth in order to find the pattern, generally. Alright, and we don't actually have strength right now, so, I mean, technically you do need strength in order to get that item, because you need to roll the boulder up in front. So this was a lot of messing around until I finally sucked it up and just looked it up. Because I wasn't getting anywhere and I wasn't really seeing the pattern. But yeah, there you go. It really isn't too bad. Okay, let's do this. So we got body of rock, body of ice, and body of steel. When gathers the 3 Pokemon, the king shall appear. Zutt, Zutt. I love that. Zutt, Zutt. Alright, so this is basically where the music kind of might sound a little off, just because I kind of had to do some weirdness to make up for the fact that OBS is not always the best when it comes to audio specifically. So, we have Floater up front. So, we have a couple Pokemon, obviously. We have 3 Regis in the back. The best one is probably Regigigas if you want to try and get the stat. Otherwise, Regirock's decent for ignoring his attacks. Or, well, not ignoring, tanking his attacks. Regigigas is a jerk, though. He has... His 4 moves are Zen Headbutt, Stomp, Confuse Ray, and the most scary one, Superpower, which is very damaging. Very strong move. It does lower his attack and defense, though, so that's the trade-off. So the more he uses it, the weaker it gets. But essentially what we're doing is we're trying to get him frozen. The first time that I did this, because I had to refight this guy a couple times to win, but the first time that I did it, I froze him, and then immediately he unfroze. Like, I didn't even get a turn where he was frozen. It was so frustrating. So, yeah, we're trying to get him as close to low as possible. So that essentially means the first 5 turns, Regigigas is a little weaker, like in terms of his attack and his speed, I believe. And then after 5 turns, those go back up to normal. So you want to try and incapacitate him before that happens. Frozen is obviously the best ideal one, although I believe that didn't really do it justice how difficult it was to actually catch him, because again, I did have to try this a couple times in order to finally get it, but he gave me a lot of trouble. But anyways, keeping on theme, Regigigas will thus now be known as the anytime now the Gigas, to match the ice, the steel, and the rock. So anyways, we are now just south of Veilstone. If you notice on your map, after you defeat the Elite Four, a new little area will kind of pop up right in this route here. And we need to go to the other side of this little caldera thing. I don't think it's actually a caldera, but it's a hole in the ground with some water. Caldera kind of implies it's more volcanic, but this is just mysterious. Alright, so we are in Turnback Cave. Make sure to have a Pokemon that knows to fog, because otherwise you are... I mean, you could manage, but it's more annoying. So, I guess this is the third reason to have defog. Which is like 2 more than I remember it being, but then again, I just remember it mostly in that one route, because that was probably the area that you go through the most, because usually once you get the Snowpoint, you're usually flying up there instead. Okay, so here's the gimmick of Turnback Cave. It is basically a randomly repeating dungeon. Well, maybe not repeating, but a randomized dungeon. And your goal is to find these 3 pillars before you hit 30 rooms. So, yeah. It's a lot of running around and looking at the cool rock formations, basically. Until you happen to find the 3 rooms that you need. If you head down, I believe this just takes you right back to the first room. I don't know if that technically resets your counter or not, but it's basically the easy way of getting out without using like an escape rope. So I believe this was the same one that we had just found, the 1-4. I don't know what the numbers represent. I don't know if they mean anything at all, or if it's just to represent that you found a different pillar, maybe. I don't know. Definitely having Rock Smash in this place helps a lot. Getting some more interesting looking rock formations. 2-7. Alrighty. So we're looking for one more pillar at this point. I think we're almost there. Once we find the last pillar, I think it's just a matter of going through the next door. And that will trigger the boss room. $313. Alrighty. Enter this room, and here we go. Everyone's favorite boss, and I'm not saying that ironically, because it seems like a lot of people really liked Giratina. So Giratina is actually a Pokemon, the main Pokemon in the main legendary in Platinum. Which is basically the better version of Diamond and Pearl. And it's generally the one people play for Let's Plays. But I have my own reasons for playing Diamond, so... Anyways. Bishan! So, if you want to make this fight a little easier, I'd recommend bringing some Dusk Balls. I believe those are the right ones. Those are basically better at catching, like, ghost types. So, same strategy as Regigigas. We're going to use Ice Fang, and then it's super effective. And immediately get freeze on it, because I actually got really lucky with this one. This is the first time that I'm fighting him, so... But that's pretty much where the luck runs out with this fight. Because this guy gave me a lot of trouble as well. Which, you know, to be fair, both him and Regigigas are both level 70s. So... it makes sense, it's just really annoying. I believe legendaries have like a 2%, either 2 or 3% chance of being caught, just base. So already very low. I believe Ultra Balls give you a ×2 modifier. I don't know if Dusk Balls give a slightly better. 3.5. And it looks like it's when they're in caves. So if you want a slightly easier time at trying to catch this guy, bring some Dusk Balls. Make it a lot easier. Or, well, easier, not a lot. Unfortunately, we will not be able to catch, like, any of the more special Pokemon. I believe, like, Arceus, Manaphy, whatever the other thing that looks like Manaphy but isn't Manaphy. Darkrai, I want to say, are all the Pokemon that, unfortunately, we probably won't be able, we won't catch in this, because those were, like, event-exclusive Pokemon or something. That's the thing I always disliked about... I'm trying to remember. I don't think there's really a whole lot that can affect the chance of the catch rate, other than status, which I believe Frozen and Sleep are technically ×2 status or something, and then it's like Paralyze and the other ones are like 1.5 or something like that. Ultra Balls are like ×2. And I think that's pretty much it. Like, if you want to go for maybe like a timer ball, if you've been able to drag the fight out long enough,
then that might work. Or dust balls, in this case, would give us a slightly better chance of catching this thing. Unfortunately, I didn't quite realize that and didn't bring any with me. Ooh! 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 Hey! There we go. Gotcha! Giratina was caught. And what are we gonna call our precious Giratina? Yeah, sorry, I didn't quite get enough with the song, so I kind of had to kind of keep looping it a little. Anyways, we have just enough characters to name our Giratina. Shadowgate, because I thought the reference would be funny. Anyways, now, this is that where life sparkles, that where life has faded. A place where two worlds overlap. Alright, let's use our escape rope to get out of here quickly. Rowan's words echoed, "There's a time and place for everything, but not now." Screw you, Rowan. It really isn't that difficult to get out of here. It's just more annoying that I'm not allowed to just do it. The little boy is thrashing about in his sleep. He appears to be tormented by something. Dark is watching me. Pretty sure that's supposed to be like Darkrai. So we need to talk to this guy since that was his son, and help him out to catch our third and final legendary of the part. We need to go and get the Lunar Wing. Alrighty, we are on Full Moon Island, which is more like a crescent shape, to be completely honest. But anyways. So, there's no point in prepping here. Just interact with, I forget the name of it, but it's something crescent, or is kind of like a pun on crescent. And we got the Lunar Wing. So let's go and talk with the kind sailor fellow once again, and he'll take us back to the town. Heard tales of it flying from place to place throughout Sinnoh. Oh, that's Sparkle. So that's the Lunar Wing. Thank you. That will wake my son from his nightmare. So many boats this part. I mean, boats are pretty cool. The little boy is thrashing about in his sleep. Imagine just, like, not taking this thing to him. I forget if you can't find the legendary at that point. Oh my gosh, you're awake. Oh, my son, I don't know what to say. Thank you. He has regained his spirit as a sailor. Wow. Okay. Anyways, so here is Cresselia. So the easiest way to do this is to go the Jubilife and just like keep going back and forth between one of the routes and Jubilife until this thing shows up in the route that you're currently at. And as per usual, all roaming legendaries I just use a Master Ball with, because I don't want to waste my time. I don't want to waste your time. Specifically, I don't want to waste my time. So, yep, here we go. Cresselia. Give a nickname to the Cresselia? Well, I'm hungry, so let's give this a fitting name and name it Croissant, because I don't know, it sounds fitting. Anyways, thank you for watching, and I will see you guys in the next part, which should be the finale.